So while Leo and the crew were over at Taipei at Computex 24, they showed us a load of new dual chamber cases and some new back connect motherboards. Well, today in this video I'll be combining the two for an MSI sponsored build using the MSI MAG PANO 100L white case, a Z790 Project Zero motherboard and some other MSI components. So let's throw all this lot together and see how easy or how difficult Project Zero is to build with. So this is the MSI MAG PANO 100L. This will be my first Project Zero build and first time using this case, obviously. This is a new dual chamber case launching from MSI. It's expected to launch in the UK in Q4 of this year. The expected MSRP price will be around £110. No fans included, but it is available in either black or white colour schemes. The MSI MAG PANO 100L features 270-degree panoramic glass panels to enhance the aesthetics of the internal hardware and provide a pleasingly clean look. The edges of the front glass panel joints are cut at an angle to minimize panel gaps, and the PANO 100L offers extensive hardware support including back connect Project Zero motherboards, big graphics cards and a huge choice of cooling options, as well as 90mm cable routing space, multi-function storage brackets, removable dust filters and quick release removable panels for unobstructed access for installation. So this video is mostly about the build and creating a time lapse of the whole build and then taking a look at how the build is when it's completed, but I do want to take a quick look around this case first and to see what it's all about, because it does look an interesting dual chamber case, especially with the Project Zero motherboard support. So let's take a quick look at it before we get into the build. Removing side panels is quite easy. The glass side panel and the other steel side panel both are just quick release panels. In white, it's a completely cleared tempered glass side panel. The top panel is easier to remove too. There's a couple of thumb screws at the back, so you just loosen those off. They are captive thumb screws, so they shouldn't fall out. There's a little handle, just pull it backwards and then lift it out. It's quite a heavily ventilated top panel, and it also includes a nylon dust filter. It doesn't look like it's easily removable, that dust filter, but it is the woven nylon type, so it should have good airflow and good dust filtration. The other side panel also pops off easily. Just push it out from the back. It's on the quick release pins. Again, that does include a dust filter and it can be removed. So you just have to kind of pull it out from the bottom and unclip it, and then that can be removed. And that again is a nylon woven dust filter. So like I say, that should be good for airflow and good at filtering dust. The front panel can be removed too, but you do get a warning sticker on the glass telling you not to pull at the glass too hard, because I think there is a potential of pulling the glass from the case and maybe causing some damage to it. So what you need to do is push it out from the top to begin with and then try and release it from the bottom. And that front panel can be completely removed. Down at the bottom of the front panel here, there's a small MSI logo and a bit of RGB lighting. Then with all those panels removed, you can see there's loads of space for access into the case for installation. Down this side mount here, you can install up to a 360mm radiator or 3 120, 2 140 fans. Same at the top of the case, either 3 120 or 2 140 fans or up to a 360mm radiator. There's also space on the floor for up to 3 120 or 2 140mm fans. Remove a couple of screws from there and there is a bracket that pulls out. I believe you can also fit a couple of 160mm fans potentially on the floor. At the side down at the bottom of the case is the front I/O. Unlike some other cases where you can switch it from the side to the front and maybe the top to the bottom, you can't do that with the PANO 100L. It is fixed down there, so ideally this case is set up for having it on a desk next to you. Front I/O connectivity consists of one USB Type-C port, two USB Type-A ports, and then a combined 3.5mm audio jack, reset button and power button. At the back of the case there's another space for a 120mm fan mount, only 120s. You can't fit a 140 there. Maximum graphics card length is up to 380mm and maximum CPU cooler height is up to 166mm tall. As you can see, there's lots of cutouts around the motherboard to support Project Zero. There's some extra cutouts up at the top and then more down the side here for if you're using a standard front connect motherboard. There's only these two cable cutouts that have grommets on though. As default, the case comes configured for vertical graphics card mounting. So there's 4 vertical PCIe slots, and then there's this stand for mounting a riser kit, but the case doesn't actually come with a riser kit. You will have to add your own. You can remove this panel, so there's a couple of thumb screws, and then it just pops out on those push pin quick release fittings. And then if you would prefer to horizontally mount, it comes with this extra panel that just clips in place, tighten up the screws, and you can switch quite easily to vertical graphics card mounting. The only other accessory that comes with the case is this GPU anti-sag bracket. So this actually screws down here at the front, and it can be adjusted up and down, and also you can rotate this part of it. It should work with most graphics cards if you've got them installed in the standard horizontal position connected directly to the motherboard. Just quickly have a look at the rear of the case. You can see the extra width that's needed with dual chamber cases. Very typical dual chamber layout. So there's the fan mount at the top here, motherboard I/O cutout, power supply mount at the side, so it's ATX power supplies up to 200mm long are supported. Below you've got the PCIe slot cutouts, and then at the other side in the dual chamber there's just another vent down at the bottom. Switch it around so you can see the second chamber, and you've got these multi-function storage brackets. At the top this just holds a 2.5-inch SSD mount, can be removed quite easily. It's on a hinge and it just slides off, and then the lower one is held in place with a thumb screw, and then it just pops out and slide off the hinge. And on here you can either install 2 2.5 or 2 3.5-inch SSDs or hard drives. There's also a couple more storage brackets on the floor. So these two on the floor are just held in place with a single thumb screw. They come out, you just mount the drive on there, pop it back in place and tighten it down with the thumb screw. So in total you could install up to 6 2.5-inch SSDs, or a combination of 3 2.5 and 2 3.5-inch drives. All the cabling around this side for the front I/O, that's all white to match the white case aesthetics. If you buy the black case, the cables will be black. You can see all the cutouts for the Project Zero motherboards. The case actually supports up to ATX motherboards, so normal standard ATX, micro ATX or ITX boards potentially, but Project Zero, it's just micro ATX and ATX size boards. There's other cable management features around here. There's some Velcro straps and other points to tie the cables down to. In the back here, you've got up to 90mm of space for cable routing at this side. It's slightly less at this side, but there is enough space here to run push-pull fans. So potentially you could put fans in the second chamber, radiator in the front, and then some more fans at the front. So there's enough space there to run push-pull quite comfortably. Quick look at the floor of the case. It does stand on these plastic feet. They've got anti-vibration rubber pads. Those feet are probably about 25 to 30mm tall. There is a large vented section that's covered with this dust filter. This is the perforated steel magnetic type of dust filter. And then once that's removed, you can see it's a large vented floor on the case for airflow into a floor mounted radiator or floor mounted fans. Okay, so for the build I'll be using the MSI Z790 Project Zero motherboard, back connect motherboard, so all the cable connections are on the back of the board, hidden out away. Can't wait to see how it looks with that installed. CPU is a Intel Core i9-14900K. For graphics I'm using the MSI RTX 4070 Ti Super Gaming X Slim, so it's a slim card. So I'm going to be vertically mounting it in the case, and it won't be too close to the glass side and should run nice and cool. Cooling the CPU is the MSI MAG Coreliquid E360 in white to match the rest of the aesthetics of the system. Planning is to mount that in the roof of the case. For the rest of the system fans, I've got a load of these Be Quiet Silent Wings Pro 420mm fans. Should be able to fit 3 on the floor, 3 up the side. I might swap the cooler fans for those, but I might keep those as the stock RGB fans. Memory is this 48GB Corsair Dominator titanium DDR5 7000 mega transfers per second. For storage, it's a Corsair MP700 1TB M.2 SSD PCIe Gen 5, and then powering the system is the MSI MEG AI 1300P PCIe 5 ATX3. Power supply is black. I don't have a white version, but because everything's back connect, you shouldn't really see that anyway. So let's get on with the build, sit back and watch the time lapse, then we'll come back and take a look at the system when it's finished. So system's built up, as you can see, everything's working as it should be, it's all up and running. You'll notice that I had a bit of a change around with the fans in the time lapse. That's kind of the thing with Project Zero, because the motherboard looks so clean and cable free. You then start thinking about how everything else in the system looks. The Be Quiet Silent Wings 4 Pro fans, they didn't quite suit the aesthetics of Project Zero with individual cables, and the majority of the fans were in reverse, and there's no reverse blade versions of those fans. So I swapped those out for these Lian TL series fans. I have 3 of the regular TLs at the bottom, but they are the reverse ones, so they're intakes. The 3 down the side, they are the TL LCD versions, also reverse blades. They're working as intakes on the side. The AIO is in the roof. I stuck with the stock fans for the AIO because they're not really on show so much. They still are RGB fans, so they look okay, and they're exhaust, so blowing the air through the radiator and out of the top of the system. And then there's another Lian TL series regular fan with a forward blade as an exhaust at the rear too. GPU's vertically mounted. It's well away from the glass in this case. It's only just over a 2 slot thick card, so there's plenty of room for the graphics card to breathe. With these floor fans, you're also getting some good airflow to the graphics card anyway, so I guess even a thicker graphics card, vertically mounted in this case, with floor fans as intakes, should work okay. So it's a nice looking system. I'm happy with how it's turned out, swapping the fans over. You can see as well I've got the CPU and GPU temperature showing on the top and bottom fan LCD screen, and then in the middle I'll just put an MSI logo on there to kind of suit the theme of this build. The thermal performance seems to be okay in this case too. It's not a review, so I've not done any in-depth thermal performance testing, but I just did a quick stress test with the Cinebench R23 and 3D Mark Speedway running simultaneously, and both CPU and GPU temperature is what I'd expect. So that's the MSI MAG PANO 100L PZ Project Zero build complete. Let me know what you think of the build in the comments section. Let me know what you think of the case. If you've enjoyed watching this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to Kit Guru. And if you enjoy what we do here at Kit Guru and you want to help support us, you can always head over to the YouTube store, pick up some of the merch, or you could even subscribe to our Patreon. And as always, if you want to catch up on all the in-depth technical reviews, head over to our website.